Season's greetings. Hope you all had a great Christmas. This is just my kind of brief rundown of mine. Hope you all had a great time yourselves. Enjoyed doing whatever you like to do. Spend time with the family, chilling, whatever you like to do. I hope you managed to do it. And hope you weren't stuck at work. So, we just had our traditional quiet Christmas. Just exactly like we enjoy. Had the family over Christmas Day, which we've done for the past couple of years, and it was a nice, enjoyable day. Went by in no time, but because of all the sort of work involved with entertaining, we actually had our Christmas Day yesterday, which was Boxing Day, depending on when you're watching this. So yeah, we had our Christmas Day on Boxing Day, if you like. So we opened our presents a day late, if you like, which is kind of nice, really, because it kind of extended the day, if you like, or extended the feeling of Christmas Day, I suppose, which kind of worked out well. I think that's the second year we've done this since, well, both times we've done the entertaining. We've done this, and it works quite well, actually. So I think going forwards, hopefully we'll continue to do the same thing. I did mean to mention in my previous rambling video, actually, has anybody seen, this is going off on a bit of a tangent, but there was a Christmas special on the TV. That's kind of reminded me. But has anybody started watching Mammoth on BBC? What an amazing programme. It's like a half an hour sitcom type programme, if you've not seen it or are aware of it. But it's the premise. It's like a 1970s man and all these sort of viewpoints on life that he had. Basically got frozen in the 1970s, and he's woken up in modern times. So he's interacting with today's world with 1970s values. Amazing programme. There's been 2 series, but there's only been 3 episodes in each series, and they're less than half an hour, 25 minutes or something. So there's only sort of 6 episodes, and then there's been a Christmas special on. Which I didn't feel was as good as the previous 6 personally, but it was still good. But yeah, if you're not aware of it, or you haven't checked it out and you like sitcoms, I thoroughly recommend Mammoth. Fantastic programme. Mike Bubbins is the main character, Mammoth, and it's also got Sean Gibson in from Carshare. So really, really good programme. Anyway, I wanted to mention that before, but, if you got some time over Christmas, maybe between now and New Year, maybe check it out. Really good. So yeah, back to the script. We had our Christmas Day yesterday, which is really nice. And got some really nice stuff. Well, to me anyway. You might think it's absolute rubbish. And that's fair enough, that's your prerogative. Boring if we all like the same stuff, wouldn't it? But I think not doing much today, I don't think. I think we're going to have a walk down to Costa a bit later, get a nice cup of coffee, and I think that's pretty much it for today. We lead a rock and roll lifestyle, me and the wife. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary for New Year. We never do. We're boring buggers. Just chilling. That's all we like to do, and that's what we're going to be doing for the next week, all being well. But I hope you do whatever you want to do, and have a great holiday between now and New Year, and have the most amazing New Year that you want, and hopefully 2026 will be a great one for everybody. Fingers crossed it's at least a good one and not a terrible one. But anyway, I think I'll just finish off this kind of wrap up of Christmas 25. I'll just run you through the pickups I say pickups, wonderful gifts that I got. Christmas editions that came in Santa's wonderful delivery. Actually, before I do that, it was Secret Santa a week ago, was it, on Sean's channel, Retro Game Revived. I'm sure you've watched it if you're watching me. I was part of it. Unfortunately, my gift didn't arrive in time because my Secret Santa, I'm led to believe, had a total nightmare with the item they'd got for me. And they didn't get it in time to send it to me before the Secret Santa stream. But thankfully it did actually arrive before Christmas. I think it was, may have been Christmas Eve, possibly the day before. It was just before Christmas anyway, but after the stream had gone out. So I actually filmed me opening it, and although it's not going to, obviously it wasn't part of the stream, I'll now throw it in here just so as you can see sort of what my Secret Santa very kindly got for me. I will add, before I just put the clip in, that Sean, who organised it all, did tell me prior that in the rush and haste for my Secret Santa to get this parcel to me, they forgot to wrap it. So it was just, you know, just like any old parcel that you'd get, you know, from anywhere. So just with that proviso, I'll just make you aware of that before I put the video in. But anyway, this is my Secret Santa opening. Right, so further to the recent Secret Santa stream on Sean Retro Games Revived channel at the weekend just gone. As of then, my Secret Santa hadn't arrived. It now has. So I just thought I'd open it on camera, and I'll add it to some other video in the future. Maybe Christmas pickups. Sean tells me that my Santa has had extreme trouble with this, and in his haste to get it sent to me before Christmas, it isn't wrapped and there's no note or anything. So I think, you know, it's just inside this packaging, so we'll just open it anyway. I think it's quite heavy. I'm a bit, I've got no idea, to be honest. I know Sean's told me that this item had to be ordered and there's been a nightmare getting hold of it. So I don't know, but there's some weight to it, so I'm curious. So let's get into this thing if we can. Feels kind of soft, so I'm wondering it's maybe a hoodie or something. Ah, it's pink. And we've got some chocolates. Oreo wafer rolls. They'll go down a treat. And some dairy milk. Can't go wrong. Thank you very much. However, we've got something pink. It is a hoodie, I think. It might be a hoodie. Wow. How cool is that? Oh, the back's even better. Look at that. That's amazing. Thank you, Secret Santa. You absolute legend. Incredible. Thank you. So, what did you think? Pretty snazzy, eh? Needless to say, absolutely chuffed with my Secret Santa. So, it matters not a jot it was late. Whoever you are, thank you very much. It's a rather fetching shade of pink. So, pink and Outrun together. What's not to like? Amazing. Anyway, we'll now move on to the nice few bits that Santa got for me. Oh, actually, another sidetrack. I don't know. I had another bit of good fortune. Christmas Eve, this was. I'm sure you're aware, Jace Retro Games put his Christmas special out on Christmas Eve, and he did his sort of usual yearly competition draw type thing with Marvin, the wonderful Marvin. Go check it out. If you're not, Jace, what a guy. Mr. Entertainer. I'm sure you're aware of him. He's picked up a bit more traction now, I think. He's seeming a bit happier. But anyway, if you like your retro stuff, you got to check out Jace at Retro Games. Absolute legend. I'll put a link in the description. Anyway, Christmas Eve, he put his Christmas special out with his usual 12 monthly sort of prize draw that Marvin does on his random number generator. But because obviously there's much more traction on his YouTube channel these days, there are many more comments for entries in the competition. I've never won a thing in my life. Honestly, I can't think of anything I've ever won. Anything. Honestly. So I couldn't believe it when my number got displayed on Marvin and I won a prize on Jace's show. A t-shirt. I'm chuffed to bits. Obviously it's not arrived, obviously, because it's still Christmas. But I was just blown away. Like I say, I've never won anything, and then for my number to come out one of, like, I don't know how many it was, over 100 I think it was. Incredible. So amazing. Anyway, moving back to the plot. What few nice bits I got for Christmas. So we got the usual stuff, obviously you normally get at Christmas. You know, smellies, bits of clothes, you know, that kind of stuff. But what we're here to talk about, obviously, is the cool stuff, like games predominantly. But also got some Lego. So I'll just briefly show the Lego. I know many people aren't into it, so I won't dwell on it. But I'll just run you through what I got. So I got a Harry Potter Fawkes the Phoenix. I do like me Harry Potter. And I've got kind of a nice little Lego shelf Harry Potter stuff. And this is going to complete it now. I've got the little Ford Anglia. I like the little sets, to be honest. They're my favourites. I haven't got the space for bigger stuff. But I like, you know, you can build a little set in like an hour or two. Job done. It scratches my itch. Then next up, we've got a set of plants in some pots. Again, I quite like the botanical stuff. Got a few of them, so at some point I'll get round to building that. And then now I've made a list, which I always do at Christmas. People say, you know, what do you want? So I always make a list, and this year was no different. And I got quite a decent amount off my list. There was a couple of items I was really hoping that somebody would buy. I think probably 3 or 4. One of them didn't get bought, unfortunately. And annoyingly, I've seen it like cheap reduced up to Christmas. Now I've gone to buy it since I know it wasn't bought off the list, if you like. It's gone back up to full price. Just sod's law, isn't it? So I shall have to bide my time. Anyway, it's a shame because I really love this set. But anyway, all this other stuff is still fantastic. You know, you can't have everything, can you? But anyway, the next one I got was now I really wanted this. As you can see, it's a Porsche 911 GT3. Fantastic set. These are my personal favourites, these Speed Champions. You know, they're only 200 odd pieces generally. 348 this one actually. But they're usually around two to 300 pieces. You know, about 20 quid, just over maybe, to buy one. Nice small set. Like I say, you can build it in under a couple of hours. Really, really nice. And I love just some of these. They're just, because obviously being a small scale model, that can be difficult to make an accurate representation of whatever it is they're trying to recreate. Some are better than others. This one I think is particularly good. And then we've got a slightly bigger one. Now I've got a few of these, but again I haven't got the space, so I have to be really limited. And going forwards, you know, the inn is full, I think, really. Any more and something's got to be sort of smashed up and sold to make way for a new one. But anyway, I do particularly like this one. I love the colour. And we've got, these are a bit bigger. These are more like, you know, 25, 30 centimetres sort of when they're built. Where those small speed champions, they're more like 15 centimetres. But yeah, we've got a Lamborghini Hurricane. But it's a lovely model. So, really pleased with that. And then the sort of star piece, really. Like I say, I only buy the small ones because of space. Plus, I can't afford to be spending crazy prices on big sets. You know, they're out of my budget. But more than that, I haven't got anywhere to put them. So, you know, I've made a point of not even sort of entertaining buying them. However, there is one in particular that I've always thought, if I ever had one, it would have to be this one. And I've never done anything about it because, like I say, I don't know where it would go. But however, the wife has bought me this one, and and you'll know why, especially Clint. Can you get a better Lego set than that? I don't think you can. Just stunning. Like I say, I've no idea where I'm going to put it, but it's just amazing. There is, funnily enough, January the 1st, they always launch some new Lego, like some new models, and there is a small Speed Champions set version of the DeLorean coming out, which I was going to buy, and I'm still going to buy it, don't get me wrong, because, you know, I've got a nice run of those Speed Champions on the shelf and they look good together, so the DeLorean's going to look nice alongside them. But I mean, that's the absolute daddy. That to me is like the Neo Geo of Lego. That's the end of the Lego, you'll be pleased to hear. Or most of you probably will. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to show you this because it's quite big. But in a similar vein to my Secret Santa, we also got... It's too big to show. But we got a blanket. I'm scrolling. But how cool is that? So absolutely amazing. I haven't actually got a blanket in here. Sometimes, it gets freezing cold in here. But sometimes, you know, if I'm watching a film or something and not doing anything, that'll come in real handy. So amazing. Just amazing. Anyway, finally, we're on to the games, you'll be pleased to hear. I should have said at the start, really, skip the first 15 minutes if you don't want to hear about the non-gaming stuff. Maybe I should put a caption on at the start as a sort of warning. Anyway, we did get a few games. Again, these are all off my list. Obviously, nobody would buy me a game unless it was on my list. Now this first one, we've got Switch and PS5, obviously. I'm not buying retro now, really. So all these are Switch and PS5. So this first one came about through watching Carl Woodland 37 when he went through his A to Z of his Switch games. Run of about 20 videos. Got loads. Check him out. Awesome channel. He cracks me up. What a guy. Anyway, we've got Pepper Grinder. I'd never heard of it. Seems like a really sort of funky 2D platformer where you've got this weird mechanic where you can drill through platforms. Don't know, obviously. I only opened them yesterday, so I've not tried any of these. They're all sealed. But that looks kind of cool. There was another Switch game on my list, which, you know, you can't have everything on you. You know, it wasn't bought by anybody. I've since bought it myself. I found it cheap in a sale, so that will be a future pickup. Which I've tried to do that with some of the other bits that weren't on my list as well. So anyway, this next one, absolutely amazing. Chuffed with this. I was really happy. This was one of the ones I really hoped somebody would buy, and thankfully they did. It's not that I needed it, I've already got it, but I desperately wanted this. Donut Dodo on the Switch. Honestly, I've banged on about this before. This is one of the greatest games made in this century. It is stupendous. If for any reason you haven't tried this, honestly, it's really cheap to download on the Switch eShop. Play it. If you like 80s single screen arcade games, this is incredible. It's honestly an amazing game. And then this was another one that was on my list that I was really hoping somebody would buy, because there seems to have been loads of people banging on in videos about how good this is. And I'd put it on my list, having seen a few people bang on about it. But then since then, loads more have banged on about it. And I've really wanted to try it, but I knew it was on my list, so I couldn't buy it. However, thankfully, somebody has bought me The Messenger. Obviously, I've still not tried it, but people keep saying this is fantastic. So I can now find out for myself. But yeah, let me know. Is it fantastic? This was another one that was on Carl's Switch list. I'm sure it was on his Switch list. Well, it must have been, because that was all Switch games, but I'm sure this was part of that. Anyway, we're on to the PS5 now. We've got Bro Tato. And I think, from memory, and looking at the box, this is a bit like Smash TV. It's that kind of game. Looks kind of cool. Sorry about the glare. But yeah. Twin stick shooter, I believe. This one I completely forgot I'd put on my list. But cool pack. And we've got the Atari 50 extended edition, expanded edition. I'd already got the standard one on the Switch. And at the time, I remember looking into this. I can't remember what the extra bits were. I think there's more games on it. But anyway, chuffed to have that. You can't go wrong with Atari. I've only got 2 left, and then you can go off and enjoy time with your family. This next one, I've looked at buying this in the past, and it gets kind of mixed reviews, so I've never bothered. But then, when I was struggling to find things to put on my list, not that that was much of a problem, I decided to put this on my list. And we've got Neon Apex. Now, I've watched some footage of this. It looks kind of cool. Graphics look really, really nice. They look kind of neon cell shaded style. Looks fantastic, but I've read it don't play that great. So it's an arcade racer with like cool graphics on the PS5, it had to be worth the risk, I thought. But if you've played it, let me know. But I'm still going to try it, obviously. I'm curious. It could. I'm suspect it's going to be one of those that is kind of a nearly there game, as in the idea and execution was fantastic, but in reality it don't live up to what it might have been. That's kind of what I'm expecting. And then the last one, this was a tip. Somebody put this in one of the WhatsApp groups, I think, a couple of months ago. And I think it was in Smith's, it was on offer. And I went to Smith's, and I was with my mum at the time. And we went in for some, I think we'd gone in to get a present for one of my nephews, I think. And I was buying this at the same time, and my mum said, "Oh, I'll buy you that." So my mum sort of bought it, and I've had it for Christmas. Anyway, Fast and the Furious Arcade Edition. I'm really quite looking forward to this. Obviously, I'm assuming there are many Fast and Furious arcade machines. I'm assuming this is a port of one of them. I've never actually played one in the arcade, I don't think. I've seen them. So I'm curious about this. I'm assuming it might be a bit like NASCAR Arcade Rush, but it looks kind of cool. I would guess it would be in that Cruising Blast arcade, NASCAR Arcade Rush kind of mould. Probably a modern style arcade racer with rubber band mechanics that you can never outrun the opposition, most likely, but got to be worth a go, and it surely must look nice on the PS5. So I'm really looking forward to trying that. I'm looking forward to trying all of them. But like I say, hoping now this next week, me and the wife are just going to relax, not do a lot, and I'm hoping to play some of this amazing stuff. And that's my plan going forwards, really. I just want to play and enjoy all this stuff I've gone crazy collecting for many years. I'll still buy stuff, obviously. It's a disease, but it's definitely going to be much less, and it's more going to be about enjoying the stuff I have bought, hopefully, and just exploring this wonderful library of magnificent entertainment we all collect and crave, and then just add a few bits here and there going forwards, and just have a fun and exciting time playing all this awesome stuff. What do you want for 2026? Let me know in the comments. I'm not going to make any new year's resolutions or anything. I never do. But I just want to enjoy now what I've built up. Hope you have a wonderful new year. I filmed a new game room tour since I've made all the modifications and upgrades and rejigged the room, and quite substantially somewhat. So yeah, I filmed a new game room tour like I normally do this time of year, and I'll put that out on New Year's Day. So if you want to watch the 2026 game room tour, look out for it New Year's Day. But in the meantime, like I say, have a wonderful holiday between now and then if you are off work. Have a great new year. Want to wish you all the best for 2026. Thanks for watching. See you next year.